Everyone.
Hey bag ladies and bag dudes, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. This is my husband Danny, and you're watching Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everyone, welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Thank you so much for joining us. I saw everyone chatting before we got started. Colleen's watching from North Carolina. She says it was sunny but cold today. Flume 1981. Nancy's watching from Florida. Debbie's also watching from Florida. Kind of wish we were in Florida right now. It wasn't too bad today. I think it was about 40 degrees here in Chicago, but next few days it's supposed to be really cold. So I guess it's just part of winter living in the Midwest of the United States. So we're going to be chatting a little bit at the start of the show, and then I'll be answering your questions live, and we also have a giveaway at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. So Violet started our show tonight since Danny is here with me on the set, and she made this stocking yesterday for our bearded dragon Flash. If you're not familiar with what a bearded dragon is, it's a lizard. She's a good-sized lizard, and Violet made this all by herself. She chose orange because that's the color that Flash is, and we kind of drew the shape of the stocking because she wanted a smaller stocking. So we drew it on a piece of paper, and this is just quilting cotton and interfaced with just shape flex because it's a smaller stocking. I didn't want her to have a hard time turning everything right side out, dealing with the extra bulk. So I think it turned out really cute, and we have it hanging. Flash has little doorknobs, and we have it hanging on her doorknobs so she can see her stocking. And Violet is very proud of the stocking that she made. So I wanted to share that with you. I myself have not been doing, well, I've been doing a lot at the computer this week. We're still working on our new website. We had to turn in some new photos, make it look really fresh, and so that took, a lot of things that I do in my head. I think, that'll take X amount of time, so maybe an hour, 3 hours, whatever. I guess I'm really bad at estimating time because it always takes like 2 or 3 times longer than I estimate. So like the pictures on the website took about 2 days, and I would have thought I could do it in maybe an hour or two. So that's just how it goes, I guess. I also wanted to share with you, since I haven't sewn anything in the past week, some organization that I've been doing. My friend Sam Hunter told me about this book that she was reading called Start Finishing. It's written by Charlie Gilkey, and she showed me, we did a live webcam Facebook Messenger chat, and so she showed me her sewing room, and she had 2 whiteboards in her sewing room. So she inspired me to create my own in an effort to get more work done or be more organized. So it's kind of big, so I'm going to ask Danny to help me hold it up. Oh, and it's heavy too.
Do you need a hand?
Yes, I do.
Good job.
No. All right, so I understand that. Oh,
Tilt it back.
Yeah, let's tilt it back. I understand that this is mostly work related, but oh, thank you. But you can use the same method for organizing your projects. Sam also told me it's really important also to include things like housework, or if you're taking kids to lessons, or things that you're doing, because those are projects as well. So I have all my projects organized in categories, as you can see, and then I've written the specific projects on Post-it notes. And so what I do with the Post-it note, tomorrow's Monday, so I'm going to be working a full day. So I'm going to choose the highest priority Post-it note off my board. I have another whiteboard. We can put this down right now. I have another whiteboard with the calendar of the month of December, and so I'm going to pull that Post-it tomorrow morning when I get to work and place it on my Monday day. And if I feel like it, maybe block out Tuesday and Wednesday as well. And as soon as I finish the task that I've posted on Monday, I'm going to grab another one, the highest priority. And so I'm still working on finishing the book. It's called Start Finishing, but it's really helpful in regards to organizing your projects, finding people in your life, friends and family, to kind of cheer you on when you finish each project, knowing how to choose those people in your life, because it's really important to celebrate each thing that you finish, whether it be a sewing project, a household chore. As you could see, I had chores in there, like vacuuming, things like that. And kind of, you don't have to have a huge celebration over vacuuming, but like celebrating that you finished it, let it go, and then move on to the next thing. So I really liked that idea. I'll talk more about that book, Start Finishing, on a future episode of Sewcial Sunday when I finish the whole thing. But it was kind of inspiring to me to be able to see all of the tasks, assign them to a day, finish them off. Hopefully I can get support from Danny. Good job, Sarah, you finished that task for the day, something like that.
Absolutely.
Danny's second favorite part of the Sunday show, we'd like to invite all the bag ladies and bag dudes to stand proud. Let us know. I like to see all the bag lady and bag dude comments come through on Facebook and YouTube. It's really fun, especially when Danny's on the show with me, because I can see all of your comments come through right here on the laptop. So thank you so much for being part of our community, and we really appreciate your support. So we're going to get right over to Danny's pick of the week, because it was really inspiring. It was posted in the Facebook group this week by Holly Shiro, and
I think it was today, actually.
yes, and she posted some helpful information as well. So I'll let you post the picture. Tell us what you thought about it.
Before I go to the picture, I want to throw a wrench in Sarah's process. People were asking me, what was I grinning at, looking at on the ground? My daughter started the show for us today, and I have to have her doing like a quick edit to get the Facebook comments on here. So when she did, it didn't work. So she was scooting by really low, and that's why I was looking down. I had to like scoot her, say, hey, put the Facebook comments back on one more time.
Oh.
So they went on here, and
I
that's
didn't
what I
even
was
notice
doing.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But my pick of the week is Holly's. She had an awesome setup, and I guess it did really well at the show. I'll leave it up there for a few seconds. A lot of stuff to look at.
Yeah, this is from a craft fair. So actually, can you leave it up there while I read? Holly posted some information in the Facebook group, so I printed it off. I'm going to read that out for you. She says, I just finished 2 craft fairs and had just under $3,000 in sales, most of which were So Sweetness patterns. I'm posting to pass along some things that I have learned in case they might help any of you boost your craft fair sales too. Practice your table layout ahead of time. Try different configurations that look good up close and far away. Varying the heights of your shelves using woven baskets and wooden crates. Neutral color tablecloths can help make your bag stand out. Stage a demo bag with its intended use. For example, a bunch of pencils and pens in a pencil case, actual makeup in a cosmetic bag, or an old cell phone and plastic cards in wallets. People love to see bags in use, and they also like to buy the demo bag. Have a little story or demo to go along with each type of bag so you have a way to engage with your customer that won't seem awkward. I like to demo how the essential oil insert fits into my Annex double zip pouches, or explain why I chose the particular fabrics I did for the grab-and-go laptop cases. Take credit cards. A majority of my sales are credit card, and I've seen my neighboring tables lose sales by taking cash only. I use Square, and I find it really easy to manage. I have to say, I have not sold at craft fairs before, but I have used Square in the past. It is used and combined with an app on your cell phone, and it just allows you to take credit cards in person. It's really quick and easy, and you just pay a small credit card fee, which is really the same fee that I'm paying on my website. So it's kind of a universal fee. And Holly had 2 more tips to go along with her Facebook post. Be confident in your pricing. I found that if I've connected with a customer and they really like the bag, they'll pay what you're asking. I tried running a discount last weekend, $5 off $50 or more, and no one even noticed, so I won't be doing that again. And she says the last tip is having a cohesive look and brand where you're very conscientious about choosing your materials, but that's another post. So thank you so much, Holly, for sharing that information. Yep. Very helpful. I have not sold bags myself, but I agree with what she said about practicing different configurations on her table layouts. I kind of did that over the years when I would lecture in person. I had to arrange my bags on the table because I was bringing so many, of course. I remember you always used to tell me, why are you bringing so many bags? Like I'd have, I don't know how many bags, 50?
Like luggage bags full of bags. And
yeah, I had 2 really big luggage cases, luggage with wheels with bags, and inside each of the bags, inside the suitcase, there were more bags. And then I had a couple extra boxes of bags that I would bring with, so like a lot of bags. But I don't know. I just wanted to see, I wanted people to see kind of the spread of the different options of patterns that I've done over the years, I guess. So let me know if you've sold at craft fairs before, if you've found success, if you found something that was helpful. Danny will check through the comments if there's something else that we can post. We just want to help you guys out, at least those of you that are selling at craft fairs. And I think it was last year we did kind of a panel discussion on one of our live shows about selling bags, how to sell bags, not only online. of the panel members were selling on consignment, in person at craft
What to charge
fairs.
for them.
Right, exactly. Answering all those sorts of questions. So I see a lot of people commenting, great job, Holly. So again, thank you for being such a supportive community. We really love that. So I'm going to be answering some questions live now. So if you have a question for me, either sewing related question, bag making related question, question about a notion or tool, go ahead and type that question right now in the comments, either on Facebook or YouTube, and I'll answer as many of those as I can. And then we have a giveaway at the end of the show also. So while Danny's combing for questions, I'll quickly announce the giveaway winner of last week's show, and that was Judy Espizith. So congratulations to you, Judy. I've contacted you on social media and just waiting to hear back about your address, and we'll pop your prize in the mail. We have another giveaway at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. All right, any questions coming
people
through?
Just mentioned that they've sold or not sold at craft fairs, and thank you for the nice comments about my picks of the week. I appreciate that. There's a few comments, maybe like 60 or 70, saying, Danny, great job on your picks of the week. I missed them, and I do appreciate those. I read all 3 of them.
I see Gina said that she had her first craft fair. She has her first craft fair coming up in February, so good luck to you, Gina. Susan says, did you put that one on the screen?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Miranda is saying, I just went to a reptile show and the people who didn't have Square were taking PayPal or Venmo. I think that's another way to go as well. Not quite as easy, but then you aren't turning away sales. Yeah, that's a good point. I've also used the PayPal, I guess, reader, if you will, in the past for selling things. So either of those are really good options. I think the fees are about the same. Lori says, how do you put a zipper head on zipper tape? We actually have a free video on the YouTube channel. How to attach zippers to zippers by the yard or zipper rolls. So you can just search that on the YouTube channel, or it's also on my website under the tutorials tab. Tammy says, will you ever make a diaper bag pattern? They are so hard to find a good one. I love your patterns and videos. Thank you so much for the kind words, Tammy. I do have one pattern that I specifically...
Aragon.
Good job. The Aragon bag, it's a pattern and a video, and you can find that on my website. Or if you just need the pattern's available separately as well. Arnetta says, do you have the wire for the large bag you showed last week? We're still waiting on our shipment of the metal frames for the new patterns. We should be receiving them sometime this month. I'm not sure. Shipping in December is a tricky matter. I feel like we've had some packages that we were expecting a certain day, and they've made it to us maybe about a week later. So
we're still waiting for our Christmas tree to ship, and I ordered it last week. So
yeah, I forgot the Christmas tree.
I messaged them today, and they said, well, it looks like on the website that it's currently shown out of stock till January 2020. So
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, because that's what they said, and I'm like, well, it's still saying in progress of shipping. I didn't receive a cancellation notice, so I talked to the supervisor. Manager was not available, but I'm gonna keep close tabs on that, and hopefully we'll have a Christmas tree by next week's show.
That would be really sad if we got the tree in January.
I would cancel it before that would happen, sir.
Denise says, do you have a men's wallet pattern? So, yes and no.
Greenback wallet trio, cork wallet.
There's a really quick, 10-minute project that we did for Cork Club last year. I think it was just cork wallet. You can find it on my website under 6 quick cork projects. And it's really just a bifold wallet that's really quick. And you can make it with, if you'd rather not use cork, you can use anything that can be cut raw, like vinyl, leather, or wool. Is there a part of bag making that you don't like? That's a really good question. I'm not sure how this happens, and hopefully my new whiteboard system will help with that, but thank you. Michelle's posting the direct link to that YouTube video for adding the zipper pulls. Thanks, Michelle. I don't know why this happens, but not that I dislike cutting the fabric and interfacing, because I do enjoy that process, but I have the hardest time actually getting started. I feel like I talk myself down. I'm trying to finish this 4th brand new pattern. I wrote the pattern. I just need to start cutting the fabric and interfacing, and in my mind, I've built it up to the most monumental task. It's really just cutting fabric and interfacing. Once I start cutting the fabric,
getting a groove,
it's fine, but I have to get
that hurdle.
The mental
block.
Yeah.
So I have my park sling bag. Shouldn't even bring that one up because it's probably gonna pop here, but still never not finished.
Does that happen to you with other things besides?
Yeah, I think I'm just a professional procrastinator, and getting something started takes a while. But once it's started, it's like, wow, it was a lot easier than I thought, and wow, I could have done that a month ago. If something's going on, it's like I just got to get in there and suck it up and start it, and then realize, hey, it's not so bad.
It's almost like rolling down the hill, like once you get or a roller coaster. Once you go over the hurdle, then you go faster and faster, and you're like, yeah, you're on a groove. I got this, that kind of thing.
That's when we move. I'm setting a short-term goal. A day after we closing, I'm gonna in there and start painting. So if I start, I can't procrastinate right away. So hold me to it.
How that goes.
We'll see. Cross my fingers.
Pamela says, have you ever used fabric for men's ties for linings? I have not, but I've seen people work ties into projects.
It'd be actually pretty cool, almost like ribbon tape.
I think I did see someone use ties in like the exterior of a bag, and it looked awesome.
I wonder if you could bind something with tie material, like the binding around.
Oh, interesting.
Binding.
Charlotte says, any suggestion for using cotton lycra panels in your bags? It's stretchy, so I'm not sure if I should put interfacing or just put the foam in. We actually talked about this on Sewcial Sunday. I think it was probably at the beginning of the year, but I did use cotton lycra for 2 Park Sling backpacks for the exterior of the bags, and I just interfaced them with Pellon Shape Flex on the wrong side of the fabric before starting on the project, because Pellon Shape Flex is fusible woven interfacing. The interfacing takes out the stretch, and you're able to work on the bag without things going crazy, going in every which direction. So highly recommend using the Pellon Shape Flex. Joanne says, could you do a pattern for a wine bottle? I found some on YouTube, but raw edges on the inside. Oh, I really hate finishing a project where you could see the raw edges. It drives me nuts. So the wine bottle pattern, is this just for one wine bottle? So kind of like
almost like a day trip or something, but you could combine that with like the net minder, yarn minder bag. That on the day trip style setup.
I don't know what you're talking about with the day trip. But...
So it can go like you wear it in the front of your chest.
Oh, a crossbody bag.
Yeah, a crossbody.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very interesting. I like that idea, and I wouldn't have thought about the yarn minder, but that's a good idea. I'll see what I can come up with. I'll write that down. Diane says, how do you use the patterns in your book since they are printed on both sides? That's a great question. So,
brain idea just popped me like a piece of lightning.
Okay.
A Kismet, the cylinder one, extend the length of it, boom.
That's a great idea.
Wine carrying one.
Good idea.
Yep. I'll be here all week. Actually, every 2 weeks.
So back to Diane's question. My first book, the pattern pieces were printed on the pages within the book at 100%, so you don't need to enlarge those. Those you could just photocopy or trace. In my second book, my publisher printed the pattern pieces on large pull-out pages, but on both sides. And so if photocopying isn't convenient, you could trace those. And in fact, I like to do tracing at my window, so holding up the template to the window with obviously an extra piece of paper and then tracing from there. So either of those are good options. Some of the interfacing manufacturers also make paper that's handy for tracing. Pellon makes one called Pellon Easy Pattern, which I really love. You could also use Pellon True Grid, which has the 1-inch squares on it. That one's a little bit more see-through. I've also heard people use, when you go to the doctor's office, the paper that they put on the...
Tissue paper
Tissue paper that they put on the exam table. So those are some options for tracing as well. I really like the True Grid and the Pellon Easy Pattern because those materials don't rip, whereas the tissue paper for the exam tables would.
Before you go to that question,
okay.
There's been a couple asking about the new placement bag.
Oh, that one? Oh, okay. This is the Rockstar.
She replaced her Sublime.
This is the Rockstar bag. It was made for me by Christy from Rock Baby Scissors, and she's black vinyl for the handles. I don't know. Christy always does a really good job with the Rockstar bag. She's got to have made over 100 by now.
Yeah, she just made it recently. I do follow her Instagram feed often, and she just made a batch. I want to say 6 to 8 Rockstar bags.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, yep. And very awesome.
Yeah, they looked great, and I love seeing the fabrics that she chooses as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Well, you need
Questions
to pick.
right there.
I answered that question already.
You sure?
I did.
I'm just
well,
testing.
you probably
just
weren't
testing you.
listening, but
No, I heard you had the tissue paper, exam paper on the table.
Roxanne says, when using zippers by the yard, how do you veer off? So I have a video on my YouTube channel, how to veer zipper off the edge of the fabric. And recently on Sewcial Sunday, I showed you a method that Michelle Graham uses for making the zipper at a 90-degree angle, how to, I guess, bar tack it before you attach it to your fabric. So either of those options would work. I don't think we've posted the 90-degree zipper video in a separate video, but if you search it on our YouTube channel, it'll take you to the show where I originally talked about it. Denise says, can you serge the inside of a bag? You could. I'm not sure if you're talking about sewing it first and then serging the raw edges in preparation for maybe if you're working with a pattern that has binding on the inside, you sure could do that. I've seen people talk about serging their fabric to the interfacing as well. So potential for sergers to be used in bag making, certainly. Jennifer says, or a pattern for a grocery bag with wine holder dividers would be great. Oh, that's a good idea. Or maybe some sort of insulated cooler with like a removable divider for the wine bottles. I don't know. I guess my mind is just going there. Interesting.
Did you ever set up a P.O. box, sir?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I know someone asked recently on Sewcial Sunday.
Donna Green wanted to know.
Sorry about that. Anne says, I have a friend that would like a bag made from a horse saddle blanket. I am not familiar with these. Do you think the Juki 2010Q could handle the thickness? So it depends on your saddle blanket. Last Sunday, I talked about, what was the wool fabric that I talked about? I'm going to have to look at my outline from last week. Pendleton wool. Thank you. I showed Pendleton wool last week on Sewcial Sunday. I had two different thicknesses of the wool, but I imagine the thicker piece that I have would be similar to a saddle blanket. So depending on what style of bag that you're looking for, you may need to adjust the interfacing. As I mentioned last Sunday, you might consider like a fusible fleece or even a sew-in fleece instead of a foam. Again, depending on the thickness of your wool from the saddle blanket and the style of the bag that you're looking for. Or another option would be just to minimize the interfacing that you're using, cut it minus the seam allowance so that you don't have the extra bulk there. Gwen says using a light box for tracing would be amazing. Oh, that's another good idea. Some of the, I have a Cricut maker, it's a cutting machine, and I know they make a light box. Cricut makes a light box, and I've seen years ago our kids had light boxes made by Crayola, so there's obviously a range in price of different kinds of light boxes, but that would be a really great idea for tracing. Janet says, Sarah, do you still have available copies of your books? So my first book, Big City Bags, is out of print. You can just get the ebook version available on Amazon. My second book is still in print. It's called Windy City Bags. You can find that on my website and wherever you buy books, Amazon or Barnes & Noble, wherever else. The second book came out in 2015, so I'm not sure how much longer that will be in print before, but we do still have copies available. Sue says, I've been struggling with the foam, which seems to have a mind of its own. I'm thinking warm and natural with lightweight interfacing. What do you think? So I've used warm and natural before for quilt making. I really like that particular batting. I guess it depends on the style and size of the bag that you're making. Especially in smaller projects, other alternatives to foam seem to work out, especially if it's a larger bag or a bag that has to stand up by itself to look nice. The foam really does make a big difference. So I guess it depends on the bag that you're working on. Wanda says, where can I get good quality cotton lycra? I don't have a huge amount in my sewing room. I've purchased some in the past from Backstitch Fabrics, but they just do pre-orders usually. I'm not sure if fabric.com what quality or variety of the cotton lycra that they might have, but that would be another option for looking. Thanks, Michelle. Michelle's also posting the direct link to the veering the zipper video that we were talking about a second ago from one of the questions. And Michelle also has the direct link to the 90-degree zipper video. She says it's 25 minutes into the video, and there's the link. Thanks, Michelle. Danny's combing for some more questions. I'm going to take a sip of water
People
really
saying
quick.
freezing paper is a great idea for piecing, pair piecing quilts as well.
Thank you for that. Yeah, freezer paper. I've used it before, and that's another great option. Lorraine says, Black Cork, when is it going to be available? We do have more cork coming possibly tomorrow, for sure this week. So we'll get that listed back on the website as soon as we have it. We have a shipment of 4 cork rolls coming. They shipped it on Friday, but amazingly we get our cork deliveries from Portugal really fast, like in usually maybe 3 or 4 days. So fingers crossed it'll be here tomorrow. Penny says, what is the best fabric to waterproof interior projects? I've tried the paint on and it is sort of sticky. So there's a couple options as far as making your quilting cottons or other fabrics waterproof. Coat, which is what Penny was talking about. Coat you need to paint on your fabric. A few manufacturers also make iron-on vinyl, which is clear see-through vinyl. Pellon makes vinyl fuse. There's a couple others. I demonstrated that last year when I showed how to make projects out of candy wrappers, and I demonstrated 2 different clear iron-on vinyls, and I talked about which one I liked better on the show. So if you don't like the paint-on version of the laminate, I guess, if you will, perhaps you'll like the iron-on version better. Lisa says, thank you, Danny, for showing us the Rockstar bag. Do you know the fabric name? I do know the fabric is, oh gosh, I don't recall the name of the designer, but I know it was from Windham Fabrics. So I'll have to look that up after the show. Feel free to email me and I can investigate and get you the name of the fabric line. Patricia says, how many times do you make a pattern that you created before you finalize the pattern? So if I can get away with it, I just make it once while I'm working on the pattern. Sometimes if it's something tricky where the pieces have to fit exactly, like I don't think I have any, here. So this cotton candy pouch, which was from Minikin Season 1, this one had a very specific, like the side panels wrap around, so it was a very specific shape for everything to fit together. For this particular project, when I was working on the pattern, I actually made like a mock-up of just foam interfacing. So I would basically cut out the front and back of the pouch and the 2 side panels and then just sewed them together and see how they fit and made adjustments from there. With some bags, I just draft the pattern pieces, write the instructions, and then I make corrections as I sew. So for example, one of the newer projects, let me grab it. This is one of the newer patterns that I've been working on, and this particular one, I only made the 1 bag, but I had to cut out fabric for the front pockets 2 or 3 times because I was not getting them correct. So that's how I make adjustments. I rarely make the whole bag and scrap the whole project and have to start over. I've done that a few times in the past, like with the Sublime bag, but time is very valuable, so if possible, I'd rather make corrections while I'm sewing rather than having to finish the project and start it all over. Venus says, are there foot pieces that are recommended for ease of bag making? That's a great question. If you like using alternate materials like cork, leather, or vinyl, I highly recommend either a Teflon foot or a walking foot. I prefer personally using a Teflon foot. A good zipper foot. I use a Juki TL2010Q sewing machine. The zipper foot that came with my machine was okay, but I much prefer the zipper foot that I use now, which is called a hinge zipper foot. If you like attaching piping to your projects, a piping foot, I have a couple of those. Piping feet. What other feet do I change out to most often?
Zipper, pipe, Teflon.
There's really only about 3 feet that I use on a regular basis.
Michelle mentioned she had 4, I think she used.
Oh, was she responding in the comments?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in a second.
In case you find it.
Yeah.
Patricia says, did you see the little girl who made one of your bags all by herself, a bag kid? I did. It was the Amethyst Project bag. I believe it was a 13-year-old girl that made that. It came out great. She made it for her, I believe it was for her art supplies. I just think it's fantastic that people of all ages can be sewing, and having fun and making fantastic projects. So yeah, that came through in the Facebook group. Did you find it?
Oh. No, it was not. It was something else.
Oh, okay. I mean, I do have like a whole range of extra feet, but there's a whole lot of the feet that I have that I very seldom use. I have a separate container for my feet, and I rarely pull that container out. Liz says, I really like how that book bag looks. When will it be available? I'm trying my best. We're looking into putting out 4 new patterns and videos. We were hoping to have those out this month. We're encountering a little bit of holdup because 2 of the projects require special metal frames that I had to have custom made, and so we're still waiting on those frames. And
Glum says a roller foot.
Oh, a roller foot, yeah. I actually don't have a roller foot, but that's another foot that I've heard people use in place of either, I believe, the Teflon. Yeah, the Teflon or the walking. Anita says, your zipper pocket template has me wanting to put zippers in everything. Thanks for all you do. Thanks, Anita. So the zipper pocket template that Anita was talking about was an acrylic template, and Ed and Robin, who make our acrylic templates, helped me put that one together. And it's really a lot of fun to use, and you can use it for any of your projects.
Regular foot was the 4th one.
Michelle says, I mostly use my regular foot, Teflon foot, hinge zipper foot, and walking foot.
That's the ones we covered, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Walking.
There was a question about Scotchgard from Denise. Denise wanted to know about Scotchgard. Do you ever use Scotchgard for fabric, and how do you do it before you sew it up or after? So I've personally used Scotchgard on a finished bag. Especially if you're selling bags, you might want to consider that option. It's sort of a stain guard that you can spray on the finished bag before you send it off to its owner, or if you're selling it at craft fairs. I don't regularly use it on my bags just because I'm not selling them and they're usually staying with me, and so usually skipping the Scotch guard, but it's a really good option. Gloria says, what foot do you use for binding? I just use my regular foot. Actually, I purchased a couple books on binding quilts because I also occasionally make quilts as well. My friend Ebony Love put out 2 new books about binding, so I'm looking forward to receiving those, and hopefully I can review them next Sunday on Sewcial Sunday. Ebony lives local. I think she lives about an hour away from us. Even though it's coming in the mail, I'm assuming I'll receive it relatively quickly. Lorelei says, have you thought of creating a bag or pouch of the month event? We do have monthly challenges for some of the Minikins projects with gift certificate prizes. Over the summer when we did book club, we had not monthly challenge. We had a challenge at the end for prizes for people that had completed the free book club projects. I saw lots of comments recently on Sewcial Sunday that people really liked the book club and hoped it would be back. So we're hoping to do some of book club in 2020. Maybe not every single month, but maybe we can fit in every couple months or so a book club discussion, because that was a lot of fun. Nancy says, what is a hinged zipper foot? So let me see if I can grab mine, if I can find it. I'm embarrassed to say most of the feet that I use most often, I keep them in my little cup where I keep my Wonder Clips. So I'm going to have to dump this out and try to find it.
I'm not cleaning that up later.
All right, here's my piping foot. Here's the Teflon foot. I don't
Probably
know.
hard for them to see it.
I have another cup, too.
I'll hold it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
That's my shirt, maybe.
Yeah.
Do a slow turn.
I'm not sure where it is. Let me see if I can describe it for you quickly. I did talk about it on Sewcial Sunday in the past, but we didn't produce it as a separate video. So the hinged zipper foot is basically, looks like my regular foot, except it's really, really skinny. So it does a good job of holding the layers of the fabric together, better than my other foot. Gosh, let me see if I can find it for you for next Sunday, and I'll give everyone a little look at it. How's that?
I feel bad for Sarah because we're running out of room, and she's looking around. It's like, yeah, good luck finding it over there or over there.
There's piles of stuff like on my desk back here, and oh gosh. Kathleen says, maybe you can do a tutorial on using a regular foot for binding. So I admit I'm not the best at binding. As far as binding quilts, my stitches are showing on the front as well as the back. But I'm hoping when I read Ebony Love's new books on binding, I'll see an improvement. Because I have like 3 quilts that I need to bind.
A lot of people are talking about the book club and when are you going to do it again? They're saying maybe a winter one.
Maybe, I was thinking the other day, maybe we can do like just one book title in January. My mom was telling me she recently read a good sewing-related fiction book that I hadn't read before, so maybe we'll look into doing that. Sherry says, haven't tried my Teflon foot. Does it work pretty well? I love my Teflon foot. First of all, for
Vinyl.
Leather and vinyl, it really glides across the fabric so that it doesn't stick. And I find that depending on, I don't know if it's the weather or something, maybe the humidity, sometimes I use my Teflon foot for sewing with cork too so that it's not getting caught up or the stitches aren't bunching up together. So it's really great for that as well. Jennifer says, I just finished putting binding on 2 quilts tonight on the machine, and the shortcut binding tool is a game changer. Oh, I'm so glad. The shortcut binding tool that she mentioned is also Ebony Love's creation that goes along with her 2 binding books. So I ordered the tool as well. I'm really excited to get it and try it out. Barb says, I forgot, what is the challenge for December? So the Minikins challenge for the month of December is the vacation packing cubes. So I saw some people in the Facebook group had been making the vacation packing cubes for gifts. They fit really nicely in suitcases, and they're different sizes. So you can have one for dirty clothes, one for underwear, one for socks, one for t-shirts, whatever. Marissa says, Sarah, you can get those little plastic divider cases at the dollar store. They are perfect for storing feet. I think I know exactly what you mean, and I'll have to pick some of those up because this method of keeping my feet with my Wonder Clips is not the best idea.
It's easy to find, you know.
Susan says, Sarah, how is your English paper piecing quilt coming along? I have not worked on it, admittedly, for a really long time, but I think maybe after we move, I'll find some time to work on it. We'll see, hopefully. It's really enjoyable to work on. It's just, if it's not at the top of my mind, I don't immediately reach for it. Lori says, I want more acrylic templates. You're welcome, especially since they're welcome since I always use a rotary cutter. We had a request for an acrylic template for installing rivets, and so I kind of put that to the side for a really long time, but I found the initial prototype for that acrylic template the other day when I was cleaning, so hopefully we can revisit it and get those tools made for you guys. Brenda says, horse made behind Danny looks like he has a ponytail. Oh, that's funny.
No ponytail, promise.
That's funny.
It's the sun.
Yeah, that's the little pony up there. That's funny. Michelle says, new to this social, how does the challenge work? So every month of the year until we finish out all the projects, there's a different challenge for a different Minikin. So we're working on Minikin Season 2 right now. This month the challenge is the Vacation Packing Cube. So how it works is if you go to my blog, I have a blog post for the challenge. All you have to do is enter a photo of your finished project, and at the end of the month I randomly choose one person to win a $100 gift certificate. So that's the Minikins challenge. We've had other prize contests in the past, like the one for book club that was also randomly drawn. I like doing randomly drawn challenges because it gives everyone a chance to win. All you have to do is finish the project, take a picture, and it's really easy. Rebecca says, how do you cut long strips of fabric that are longer than your ruler? For example, long straps. So you could either lay out your fabric and either draw and then cut with scissors, or use your rotary cutter. You could also fold the fabric in half or in thirds and cut through that. Most quilting cotton already comes folded in half, so it's folded selvage to selvage, and so that's an easy way to do that. But I've had some straps where I've cut where they ended up being a little crooked just because the fabric was not folded evenly. So you might want to double check that your quilting cotton or other fabric is folded nicely before you cut it. Otherwise, if you're not as confident, you can certainly open it flat and then cut it that way. Sarah says, how's your paint by numbers coming along? I got one and it's taking all my time away from sewing. That's really funny. I admit I took a little bit of a break for it, but I got all my background finished on my paint by numbers. If you missed it on Sewcial Sunday, I'm working on a big paint by numbers canvas with a picture of a horse on it. And my daughter Violet also has one with a different picture, also a horse. And so looking forward to finishing that one. I'll share it with you on Sewcial Sunday as soon as I finish. Ursula says, new to bag making, can you recommend a good messenger bag? So we do have a free pattern and video for the Kennedy bag. That's a messenger bag. It's not up here. We had a photo shoot with some of the bags, and so some of the bags that were formerly in the studio, I moved down to the basement, hence why we have a few new bags on the set. But if you search either on the YouTube channel or on my website, the Kennedy bag is a good one. If you're looking for a first-time bag, the Baker Street bag is also a good one. It has a top zipper. It's sort of a medium-sized bag. So both of those would be really good options. Calling it on the questions?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking your questions. I apologize if I did not get to all of your questions live, but we'll be back next Sunday for Sewcial Sunday minus Danny.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'll be putting my box, hiding around them there. Thank everyone for the participation, the commenting, the all the stuff you guys do. It really helps, and we do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the giveaway prize this week is, we're sort of trying our best to organize the studio downstairs, and so I have a big flat rate box of all white zippers. So there's handbag zippers, number 3 zippers, tons of zippers inside that should be helpful for your upcoming sewing projects. We will be choosing one randomly drawn winner at the end of the day this Saturday, and all you have to do to enter the giveaway is answer this question in the comments either on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch our show. And the giveaway question is, what is your current favorite TV show? So what's your current favorite TV show?
Oh, I've been watched so many shows. I don't have a current favorite one, to be honest. I just started was that The Prodigal Son. I believe I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay.
I'm starting to give it a chance. I like the one actor in it. I know you
Michael
know his
Sheen.
name.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen, yeah.
I haven't watched that show yet, but I just started watching the 3rd season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon. It just came out yesterday, so I'm almost done. I have 1.5 episodes left, so it's very good. It's one of my favorite shows. So
how many episodes in a season?
There was 8 this season.
Wow.
So.
And you just started watching 2 days ago, right?
Yeah. Yesterday I was kind of having a rest day, so that's when I did most of my watching. Anyway, thanks so much for watching Sewcial Sunday.
Night.
Have a great week and happy sewing. Bye
Bye-bye.
everybody.